HC says, so glad to see you. I'm considering moving to Mexico, but not sure if some weird, scary harassment will follow me there. I've moved across the country twice now in California. Yeah, well, I mean, we can't stop making moves. Like we have to keep going. Like I spoke recently on one of my videos. I've had something in my personal life, probably another love bite scenario. I think the more I process it. Um, like I said, I got on the live this morning. I had a message out of the blue that for a minute threw me off. The matrix is always going to do what it's going to do, but we can't stop making moves in life. We have to live our lives, and I've said before, we have to smile. I mean, I know it's difficult at times when we know what's going on and the suffering that's going on, but you can't just be. You can't like you've got to leave the house. You've got to do stuff. You've got to find those small wins. You've got to find those small joys. And if you're watching this and content like this, I'm pretty sure that this is going to be the last hurrah, right? I'm not going to say it definitely because you never know. But if you do the work, you're doing your personal work, your inner work, you're becoming stronger, you're becoming what I call sovereign, you're moving into your sovereign energy, you're dropping the saviors, you're dropping the guides, you're realizing that you are actually what and who you've been waiting for your entire life. um, you're not complying, that's a powerful energy. People can feel that. And what you will do is you will take that on into the afterlife. You've learned that learn learning lessons, but this is the real lesson that we have to learn. We have to move out of those savior programs and the hopium, as I made the last video, the hopium, the copium, and become self-reliant. Not to say you can't get help or you can't listen to information. Just be discerning. But when you move into that energy, it's ungovernable, it's uncontrollable, especially when you start to learn the power of your own energy and learning what you can do with that and your telekinesis abilities and that's what I would say. Like, it's a shithole, right? It's a turd here, right? There's copious amounts of evil. Of course, speak up, help others into awareness, um, do what you can do while you're here. And I think if enough of us do that, then we can make a real impact. But if you're watching this, I'm pretty sure it's going to be the last hurrah. You're not probably going to go to the light. I mean, you can, like, you do you. I'm not here saying do this, do that, do the other. But we know by now that it's a scam, right? So you're probably not going to go there. You're going to have a strong intention to leave. You're going to have a strong intention to leave the astral. You're probably not going to start talking to any like things that appear as angels and stuff like that until you're well out of here. So the chances are we've probably got a good chance of getting out of here. So make the most of it while you're here. Enjoy your connections with your animals, your pets, your loved ones, um, and that's the way I'm living my life. I'm just a lot of the time I'm laughing now at the chaos. When that thing happened this morning, I was like, oh, here we go. Just as I'm about to go live, you're going to try it, aren't you? And if you can start seeing things, like zoom out and seeing things from that perspective, not everything's a matrix. Like you trip over it. Like sometimes things are your fault, right? You got to take responsibility for things. And sometimes our decision making is poor because sometimes we do things based on our feelings. We make, particularly when we want to allow love and connection into our life. Perhaps we don't always look for the red flags, or we ignore red flags. So we've got to take responsibility. That's part of being sovereign, making better decisions. But a lot of the time, I'm getting a sore throat here. A lot of the time, it's the Matrix trying to throw spanners in the works to take you off course and that kind of thing. So